この瞬間を永遠に忘れません。
Well, well, well. Look who it is. Our queen of masochists has finally sealed her fate, eh? I guess it's gonna be a little rough and painful tonight. As the head of Andreotti family, Marian has gained a new exosuit AQUILA, which not only allows her to fly in the most inappropriate way, but also very deadly and powerful. Marian is a kinetic general support that can be paired with any main DPS, not just Acacia Chrono Echo, but anyone. Because not only she offers a lot of generic buff, resist rate and damage taken, but she can also increase her team DPS through her powerful follow-up attack. When using Marian on the field, she will always automatically deploy her tactical device, the Fang Beacon. Each time Marian shot hit an enemy inside the Fang Beacon range, she generates Fang Fire energy that's shown by this gauge. Once the gauge is fully charged, Marian's next shot that hits will trigger an additional attack through the beacon based on the target hit. If Marian's shot hit an enemy, the Fang Beacon deals a single target kinetic damage to the target hit. On the other hand, if Marian's shot hit the Fang Beacon, it deals kinetic damage to 5 nearby targets. After the Fang Beacon's attack, Marian's gain 1 Raptor energy, this one. When Marian has 5 Raptor energy, or 3 Raptor energy after upgrading her first Neuronic upgrade, her Fang Beacon's next shot will be enhanced. If her shot hit an enemy, it deals single target kinetic damage by 6 times to the target hit. If Marian's shot hit the Fang Beacon, it deals AoE kinetic damage by 3 times to up to 5 nearby targets. Shooting the enemy inside the Fang Beacon's area is mandatory to charge the gauge. If the enemy is outside the area, you can reposition the Fang Beacon using Marian's standard skill. By tapping her standard skill, you can move the beacon to your aim location. However, if the Fang Beacon is too far away from Marian, it will automatically return to her. Additionally, in case you are facing a single powerful enemy, you can long press the standard skill to command the Fang Beacon to lock onto and consistently follow that enemy even if Marian moves too far away from the Fang Beacon. Or you can also recall it manually by tap her standard skill again. But here's come the downside. The long press mechanic somehow doesn't work if Marian is too far away from the target. Here is the example when the lock-on mechanic doesn't work. The beacon will come back when Marian is too far away from the beacon. And here is when the lock-on mechanic works. The beacon keeps following the boss even when Marian is too far away from the boss. In summary, you cannot apply it immediately the moment the battle starts. Instead, you need to always move closer just to lock on to the target. Once you unlock her second Neuronic upgrade, each attack unleashed by the Fang Beacon can replenish 30 bullets of Marian's ammo, which eliminates her needs to reload as long as she doesn't waste any ammo. After Marian using her ultimate skill, she unleashes a powerful explosion toward the enemy, dealing AoE damage to up to 10 targets. Because the total damage of her ultimate skill is absolutely huge, so by using it frequently will significantly increase her DPS. Additionally, after upgrading her Neuronic upgrade, using Marian's ultimate skill can also increase her standard skill damage and standard skill damage taken by the enemy. Next is Marian's Sport skill. Marian's Sport skill is her main power. Upon activation, Marian enters the Sky Hunt state, where she continuously consuming skill energy while regenerate Raptor Psyches, this gauge, that can be fully charged every 8 seconds or 4 seconds once her second Neuronic upgrade is unlocked. When the gauge is full, after the active operative's attack hit a target, it will trigger Marian's follow-up attack on the same target. Marian will exit the Sky Hunt state once her skill energy is depleted. However, after upgrading the first Neuronic upgrade, Marian can keep maintaining this state if she is equipped with a kinetic weapon and the active operative constantly dealing damage at least once every 2 seconds. Lastly, for Marian Deiwos Skill, when equipped with kinetic weapon, Marian Deiwos Skill offers a 15 damage buff to full squad after the target is afflicted with kinetic damage over time. Additionally, for each 100 alignment index, the ratio will increase by 2%. As for Marian's gameplay, if you use her as a support operative, all you need to do is activate her support skill and start attacking the enemy without a delay in order to prolong her support skill duration. On the other hand, if you use her as a main DPS, when against single enemy, all you need to do is to send the Fang Beacon away by long press the standard skill, so the Fang Beacon will keep following the enemy, then keep shooting at the enemy when the enemy enters the Fang Beacon area. When facing multiple enemies, just aim at the crowd and tap her standard skill once to send the Fang Beacon toward your aim direction. Then start shooting at the enemies, but whenever the Fang Beacon gauge almost full, you can change the target toward your Fang Beacon to trigger the Fang Beacon's AoE attacks. Very inconvenient. This is very inconvenient. You have to shooting the enemies while paying attention to the gauge and change your target to the Fang Beacon occasionally whenever the gauge almost full. This means you need to either stop shooting or you might miss a few shots when changing targets. That is why it feels like another annoying mechanic to do. But how good is her DPS if you play her as a support or main DPS on the field? This is her solo DPS without including ultimate skill. That is quite average. But since her ultimate skill only costs 40 ultimate energy, she can use her ultimate skill approximately every 11 seconds, which causes her DPS to significantly spike up. Yeah, this is absolutely high. But of course, in actual fight, this isn't achievable, considering how slow and how pain in the butt the Fang Beacon mechanic are. Additionally, she uses a submachine gun which has very high ricochet rate to make it worse. Ricochet bullets can still generate Fang Beacon's gauge, but it doesn't generate ultimate energy or deal damage. That is why I highly not recommend you to use her as a main DPS. While this one is the additional raw DPS she can offer as a support operative. It is pretty low compared to what Acacia with the same stat can offer to Katia Rhapsody, which is approximately 80,000. But on the bright side, unlike Acacia who is highly dedicated for Katia Rhapsody, Marian can offer this much additional DPS for everyone who can consistently deal damage. Therefore, although the DPS she can offer is small, at least she isn't a picky teammate. Marian's recommended Logistic squad is Travel Squad. You can get them from the event shop. For the Logistic talent priority is attack percent and alignment index, while for the third talent is kinetic damage. For Marian's weapon comparison, this is by comparing Acacia's DPS after getting improved by Marian's buff and additional DPS while using each of these weapons. The gap is pretty small, so it is up to you whether you want to skip it or not. In my opinion, since she is a general support plus sub DPS, I suggest you to highly invest on her, since so far our general supports are only Vidya Celestial Swan, the strongest support operative, Acacia Kaguya, and Isla Cup. So by having a high build Marian will give you much more flexibility in your team arrangement from now on. About her manifestation, yep, like usual, you can invest up to manifestation 2 or 3 since her manifestation 4 only offers a really low improvement to Acacia's team DPS. For Marian's base teammate, it is everyone. Yeah, she welcomes everyone. Since she is a general support, I don't think she has problem of pairing with anyone. But her buff indeed can be less effective with some main DPS sometimes. For example, since Marian can provide flat attack buff and attack percent buff, she will be less effective for main DPS that scales with HP stat. Additionally, since she is a sub DPS, pairing her with debuffer or buffer support that can provide full squad buff can also be useful to increase Marian's follow-up attacks DPS. Just keep in mind that if you want to pair with Vidya Celestial Swan, make sure the main DPS is also kinetic element just to be safe, in order to follow the Vidya's mono element rule. Lastly, Just for your information, previously in Acacia's weapon comparison, I made a mistake by placing this 30% buff as ultimate skill buff instead of skill damage buff. Well, it is because I thought that the buff only active when she used her ultimate skill, so logically I can put it in there. But I later found out that these 3 attacks don't count as either ultimate skill or standard skill damage. So when I correct this by removing the ultimate skill buff from its formula, I didn't realize that I also accidentally removed the free-to-play weapon buff that should have applied to them. That's why the percentage became very low. So I deeply apologize for my mistake and for surprising you with that big percentage gap in Acacia's previous weapon comparison. Alright, I think that's all from me. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Cheers.